Welcome back to another edition of Ego on Break. I'm your host, Dynamite J. Andrews. Got the Mississippi Madman, Logan Creed, sitting to my side. And today we're going to talk wrestling, but we're going to talk Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Yeah.
So I had this idea to travel back in time and check out some older promotions and things like that. Madman suggested SMW. And honestly, I haven't watched a ton of this before. I've seen like the first couple of episodes numerous times. I'll get into this like, I'm going to watch it episode by episode. I make it 2-3 episodes in and never watch again.
We went 3 episodes.
And then I think I've seen like one of the pay-per-views or something like that they did before.
It's the one where Chris Jericho has the broken arm.
Yep. And today I stumbled across these. So I had heard Cornette or someone say like when he had the idea for Smoky Mountain Wrestling or whatever, he piggybacked off a show that was already happening to basically film the pilot.
Oh, okay.
One of the Fantastics, is that right?
Yeah.
One of the Fantastics was doing a show, and he's like, "Hey, can I piggyback off your show for this pilot? I'll bring in some lights and dress it up a little bit, book some extra guys." And the guy that was going to be the partner with Cornette,
Tim Horner?
No, the music producer guy or whatever.
Oh, I can't remember his name, but yeah, I know you're talking
Rick
about.
Rubin.
Rick Rubin. That's it, yeah.
So Rick Rubin, they're having some conversations. They didn't want paint. They didn't want any face paint to be different. And when they're doing the pilots, he's like, Rick Rubin's like, no JYD.
Yep.
And JYD was on that show, but so he was like a dark match main event. He wasn't on the pilot. So I just thought that was kind of funny that.
But if I timed that right, I think that's the point where like he doesn't even have a beard. I think you saw him at that point too.
Yeah.
And you're like, who is this?
Old guy.
Like you didn't know.
Yeah,
you know
he didn't look like the JYD in my head.
No.
Like,
and I mean, I'm not talking bad about the man, but he got heavier and heavier.
Yeah.
I mean,
heavier, and like cared less and less. I think.
Yeah, I mean, it just did not look like the JYD you grew up on.
Right.
So.
But I just thought it was kind of funny that like, and that's a cool idea. Hey, like piggyback on something that's already happening.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have a crowd. I think it was at a school or something like that. But pretty neat,
Yeah, it was a good show.
But so I was looking for those. I guess that's the point I was making. I lost track of what I was doing. I was trying to find those pilots, and I stumbled across Smoky Mountain Wrestling fan BBQs, and so Cornette would have these fan bar, and he was bussing people in, like fans in, because like one guy's like, "Oh, I'm from Florida, I'm from New York, or whatever," but it's just some camcorder footage, and it's awful. But to see these guys at the barbecue, and I only watched maybe 10 minutes of one, but I want to go back and watch all of them, and just try to see it. Like, so I was reading comments of the one I was watching, and they were like, "I seen Cornette's wife at such and such time, but is that his current wife now at such and such time?" And it was like she was actually a fan. She had came from California to the Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
At that time he was married to somebody else.
Yeah, but she was like younger. Like she wasn't even in the business or anything. But she a fan. As a fan, she came from California to like Florida, Louisville, where these were held at.
So she was a super fan.
She was a super fan back in the day. So just kind of cool that she was there with like. Young Cornette and stuff, so it was pretty cool.
That's how you might be in wrestling, dude.
But yeah, so episode 1, we kick off with
Killer Kyle versus Robert Gibson.
What did you think about the intro of the show? I kind of dug it.
As far as old school as it was, with the little flip in stuff,
which was new.
No. That's what I'm saying. But for then, it was very high tech and looked different.
Yeah.
But let's just say some of the spots they picked to put in there, they could have picked some better, and they did improve it. In the first 3 shows that I watched, I could tell each time they took out the garbage, they put in some stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was good.
That's cool. But yeah, so we started off with Killer Kyle
versus Robert Gibson. 7 minutes match. I thought it was a fun little match. It wasn't much to it, but it was what it was.
It was.
And it ended with a Robert Gibson win with a roll-up.
Yeah, rockin' Robert Gibson.
Yeah, rockin' Robert.
I guess this is around the time, Ricky Morton's in WCW by himself.
Mm-hmm.
But it was cool because Killer Kyle, comes out with a violin case, and he's straight, mobster looking.
Yes.
And I was like, who is this guy? So, I just got curious, so I got to looking up. And so I'm a big fan of Continental Wrestling. And so they had a group there called the Honor Guard. It was like the DI and then Detroit Demolition, which was one of the original members of Demolition. And but they had these privates, and he was one of the privates.
Wow.
So I don't think he was. There was one like Private Pile, and then later they added another guy. I think he was the second guy. I don't think he was the first guy.
Okay. He looked familiar, but I honestly could not place him. To me, he just looked like a short version of Mr. Hughes.
I mean, he's kind of big though. I mean,
well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
His
I mean, he's probably 6'3".
He had the
like
tie.
that.
Everything looked like Mr. Hughes.
But I love
really
the fiddle
did.
case. I think that added a lot to the character.
If he could have used it, but I mean,
he may later on. You know,
this was your introduction show, so you're trying to
you're just really getting everybody familiar with who people are.
Because the next thing they did was from Fanatics promo, and it was just short to the point. Yeah, I'm sorry. Fantastic.
Me and Joey Abel wasn't there.
Yeah, but anyway, but it was just short to the point. How we're these guys? Yeah, you're going to cheer for us.
Right.
And we're going to beat up anybody that's a bad guy.
Yeah, I love the babyface promos in the first 3 episodes. They were like, come on out. We're doing it for the fans. And, like, I think a lot of that's missing in wrestling now.
Oh, no, it is. Because I promise you, I took some pretty heavy notes on some of this stuff. But their promo, it was decent for what it was. Then you had Bob Armstrong, Commissioner promo, laying down the law, and that's what he was.
It was great. He looked horrible.
I don't know how old he was at that time, but Bob, man, he stayed jacked.
Yeah,
he really did.
I mean, even later in life, he was still exercising every day.
He said during there, he goes, look, I'm a commissioner, but I'm also still a wrestler, so basically if you want to show your butt with me, I'll still get in the ring with you and kick the crap out of you.
Right.
So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and he wasn't no farm boy. I mean, what do you think he'd go come in? It wasn't no 3-piece suit.
Yeah, no, I just love his like plaid shirt and a tie, like stuff that you wouldn't even put together today. It's like, I had this, and this one has buttons, and this one's a tie. He
probably stopped at the Dollar General and bought the tie at that point.
Goodwill
or something. He probably didn't even own a tie.
Who's got a tie? It don't match
met Bob a couple of times, and I didn't never.
Bob was cool, man.
He was a cool dude.
Yeah, I love it.
He's one of the very few. I don't approach people for pictures, but he's one of the very few I got a picture.
I did as well.
So, but next was Barry Horowitz versus Brian Lee.
Prime time, Brian Lee.
Prime time, Brian Lee. I even got that down here. And the finisher was a backbreaker. I didn't write down I wish I would have written down the times of each match, but they weren't long matches. Like the longest matches, like 10, maybe 15 minutes, because you didn't have but an hour. Yeah,
this was fun because Dutch Mantel was on commentary.
Yes.
And basically leading into something with Brian Lee. And
it's Dutch and Cottle.
Mm-hmm. Which Bob Cottle, I don't think he gets credit. Bob Cottle was not a bad commentator.
No, he's just a good straight man.
Yep.
And he's another one. He doesn't exactly know all the
and he would stumble a little bit,
but he was decent.
But I think that stuff makes it feel real, like.
Did you like him and Dutch better, or him and Cornette better?
I liked him and Dutch.
So I like Cornette myself.
I mean, I'm a Cornette fan,
I just thought they played off each other better.
But I'm such a fan of Dutch Mantel and commentary.
I know him and Dutch were good. I just like Cornette better.
Right.
But it's Brian Lee goes over with a backbreaker. But I'll tell you what, man, that's a guy that people need to go back and watch, especially if you're young, trying to learn stuff. Is Barry Horowitz. That dude was freaking good, man.
I think what happened to him was, he kind of developed into that enhancement talent, and I don't know, had we already saw him on TV or hadn't saw him on TV, I'm not sure. But to me, he just never... the character just never was built. You know what I mean? Like,
as far as he ever got was that thing that he did with
Zip.
That was it. And his schoolboy roll-ups. But it was a good match.
He's definitely a good worker.
The finisher was a backbreaker, but you did, like, during the whole match, you hear Dutch talking about, I wouldn't have done that, and I wouldn't have missed that. He would never hit me with that.
But I like how he started out. I was like, I'm really interested in this guy.
Yeah. Like, then he crapped all over him. But it was good.
But in a nice way.
Then you got Ron Wright, and I'd heard this name through the years, but I'd never seen him.
This may be the first time, like, introducing a manager, and he's on here going, I'm a poor old wrestler. I'm in this wheelchair.
I need money for my hip surgery. I'm like, wait a minute.
I'm like, Cornette was like, I just wanted to be different, and that's the reason, like, there was no face paint and this and that. But yeah, you want a manager in a wheelchair? That's pretty different.
But it was he's scouting talent. Basically, that's what he was saying. He goes, I need money to get my hips, but he goes, but I know enough things about contracts that I can help you get a good contract and good matches.
Yeah.
So that's him. And then it was Golden Boy Joe Cozen versus White Lightning Tim Horner.
White Lightning is good. Tim Horner's good.
In the ring.
Yeah. His
promos are absolutely freaking horrible. Yeah, I'm sorry, I got about the promo, but his finish was a roll up with a bridge, and it was a really pretty damn finisher.
And this is what, second roll up of the night? Different, but
no, because Brian Lee's was a backbreaker.
But the first match was a roll up. Rockin' Robert Gibson.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I mean it was a different type of roll up, but this is like I can wrestle type roll up. Where
I think Rock and Rolls was like an inside cradle.
Yeah, Rock and Rolls was more like I took advantage of the situation. Yeah. He did this on purpose.
Because I watched later on, his finisher by itself is a bulldog out of the corner.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Horner in the ring is great. When he gets to the mic, he should have never got there. Or they shouldn't have been dumb enough to put him out there. He should have had a manager. Honestly,
yeah.
God, he is.
He needed Ron Wright.
He's awful. But anyway, then it goes to Cornette promoing on bringing in a tag team. He's not telling you who they are and how bad tag team wrestling is, how we got to improve it, and just wait till his team gets there, more or less what it comes down to.
I love it. He said, and I think it's this promo where he says, somebody, oh, we're not coming in to do this. We're going to just come in at the top. And he's like, well, we're going to come in and beat everybody. Like, he contradicts himself a little bit. But the promo itself was still really great. Like, he definitely had the gift of gab.
Sure. Then it was Paul Miller versus the Black Scorpion. And he talked about this match and what you was talking about. Paul Miller did not have an entrance. Black Scorpion did.
Yep.
And he said, I wanted to do something different here where they didn't expect this guy to win because he had no entrance. He's just a guy standing in the ring. And he beats the Black Scorpion. And Black Scorpion was a big buffed up dude.
It's Ric Flair.
I don't know who the hell he was. Yeah, okay.
I mean, you didn't see WCW?
He called a tan like he could speak some Spanish. But I'm just saying.
He was a big dude, and when the other guy beat him, you were like, whoa. Like,
yeah, I didn't see that coming. And I just heard what you were talking about like 2 or 3 days before. Yeah. And I was like, oh, crap, this is what he's talking about. But, okay match. Scorpion needed a lot more ring time.
Right. I think it was just, he was there for that reason.
I think it's just big swallow up dude. Yeah. And that was it. But next was Brian Lee doing a promo, and then Dutch Mantel comes in and tries to give him some input on what he would have done the right way.
Yeah, gives him some advice. Like, I don't know if I would have let him do that to me, or, if you would have just done this way, and like he was trying, it was constructive criticism, but from an asshole, like.
Basically. Yeah, that was basically it. Then you had the next match was the main event, Bobby Fulton versus Ivan Koloff.
This was pretty good.
Ron Wright's ringside scouting talent in his wheelchair. And at one point, he gives Ivan Koloff a handshake.
Yeah, he didn't give him anything. He didn't give him anything.
With a bit of a pass of something in his hand.
At a moment of desperation when a guy is about dead, it's always proper to give him a handshake. I mean, hey, while you're down, let me introduce myself.
Bobby Fulton took that bump, man. He's dead. But yeah, his brother comes out. And hey, he's cheating, and then here comes Ivan Koloff, which is well, I'll get to that in a minute. But they do the whole beat down, save, and set up a match with it says
the nephew came out, right?
Yeah, that's
Vladimir, which
Vladimir.
We all know is a little bit of, I guess, known secrecy, lesser known secret, but. That Ivan Koloff is the Ivan Koloff. I mean, not Ivan. My bad. Vladimir's daddy.
That's the same thing.
Like, so the Vladimir Koloff we know is actually a junior.
I got you.
Yep. Not a lot of people know that.
He went back to Russia and never come back.
He comes back.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay, I ain't got that far yet.
And I looked him up, and so he was like a cattleman or whatever. He raised cows and stuff like that, and so he sold cows to Andre the Giant.
Really?
But he had been like an amateur wrestler through high school, college, stuff like that.
Whoever the hell.
And so he became a friend with Andre through selling the cows or whatever. and Andre learned that he had been an amateur wrestler and that kind of thing, and said, "Let me hook you up. You used to be a wrestler. Let me get you in the business." So he hooked him up with Ivan. So Ivan was actually training him, and I don't know how long he had. I don't think he had a whole lot of matches before that. So some of these matches are like some of the first ones he's ever had.
I was gonna say the match I've seen with him, he wasn't bad, but even if he was green, it was a tag match. These are hard. But Bob Armstrong makes a match after that match, and sets it up for the next week. So that'll be the next week's main event. I really thought it was cool. It was a weird way to go off, set up the match for next week,
Yeah.
I mean, you think about today's, they don't do that no more.
I mean, it's definitely a step back in time to maybe what would work to get you to come to the next show, not what would get you to watch the next episode of TV.
Yeah.
Where now television is tune in next week and not come to the show next week.
Yeah, and this was basically both, because they were like, this will be your main event next week. And they're trying to get them to come to the show. Because one thing, every time they went to commercial, they were promoting anything and everything to get you to come to the show, or get you
to buy a show.
From. Exactly.
Bring us to your town. See the fans, the stars of Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Family friendly wrestling, all that, man.
Family friendly. We hung a guy, but it was family friendly. We sent flowers to his wife and kids.
And then a couple of shows later, Dutch whooped somebody with a whip. So.
Very family friendly.
I don't know, but episode 2 is Cornette and Cottle calling the action. The first match is Tim Frye versus Hollywood Bob Holly.
Yes, sir.
It's like, I never knew the Hollywood part existed. I did not.
And he was definitely Hollywood, shades and all.
Yeah, he's about as Hollywood as I am. At least I've been in a bad movie, so
But overall, it highlighted Bob Holly. I mean, that's what it's supposed to do.
It did, but it wasn't
no, it wasn't bad.
Like Tim Frye got some stuff on him,
Yep, it was not a squash.
And it's kind of weird seeing like him kind of play the chicken shit coward, because like Bob, hardcore, you just look at this character, at this character,
completely different.
It's nothing like the same. But back in the day, he was doing a top rope knee drop as a finish, and it was pretty.
Yeah, it was
I
nice.
know why I don't do it no more, because that shit sucks.
Can't walk.
But again, Ron White was out there scouting talent, so they were still pushing the whole Ron White thing a lot.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Then you got Koloff promoing on the tag team match that's coming in the main event.
Is this where he's Vladimir had to go back to Russia, or is that
no? This is the second episode. But no, because the match is going to happen.
Okay.
The promo is pretty decent. I've seen a lot of people kind of crap on Ivan, and I'm like, I don't get it. For him being a foreign guy, I thought it was decent. He got to the point.
Yeah.
He's sure better than Tim Horner.
Yeah.
So
agreed. Even though Tim Horner really enjoyed to be here.
Right, awful. Anyway, then Robert Gibson comes out and does a short little promo.
Which wasn't bad.
No, it's just kind of like, I'm here.
Yep.
I'm the superstar.
Yep.
I'm the name you know. More or less it.
Right.
I'll tell you now, this is a guy I had not seen a lot of, was Hustler Rip Rogers. But the stuff I've seen, I've enjoyed the hell out of. Like Hustler Rip Rogers versus Paul Arnold.
It was solid.
And it's probably a good 10-minute match. And I mean, Paul it was 50-50 in this match. And Paul beats him with a reverse sunset flip as a pin.
Yeah, Rip Rogers is his claim to fame is he's got cardio for days.
Bro, I couldn't disagree, because him and Paul tore it up, man. I wouldn't have known the difference between that match and a match nowadays with their wins like that. They sold, don't get me wrong. But, I mean...
He wasn't huffing and puffing for sure.
It was a go type match. And I was like, damn, how long is this thing going to be?
It was solid,
because I think it was about a good 10 to 15 minute match. But it was really good, really good. Then it was a Danny Davis promo.
Nitro Danny Davis.
Yeah, and it was...
Minus the star.
Yeah, he wasn't allowed face paint. That's what he even said.
No star.
He come out, now he's Nitro Danny Davis, since he couldn't be the Nightmare because he couldn't paint. I was like, why don't you get a mask? But anyway.
They started out in mask.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, maybe that's why, yeah. But But again, it was just a kind of a short. I'm one of the stars. You know the name of Nightmare Danny Davis. Now I'm Nitro Danny Davis.
Right.
Kind of a reintroduction.
Right.
And then it was Bob Armstrong again pushing the rules and the family wrestling. I mean, that's something they stayed on this for like 2 good shows. Then you got Brian Lee promoing on Dutch Mantel. And it was decent.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean,
he's still learning at this point, and you can tell. But it was still better than Tim Horner. Sorry. But
and like one of the funny things is like almost everybody's got bleached blonde hair. Like
yes,
everybody.
I don't know why. Why?
The 90s, man.
I guess so. And everybody's got robes.
Yeah.
Almost everybody's got robes. Even if there's one guy, I swear, I can't remember which one it was.
He bought it at Kmart.
Kmart. He found that damn thing in the dumpster. I don't remember who it was. I wish I would have wrote it down. But one guy, he comes in the ring, and I'm like, they found this guy on the side of the road. I was like, what happened? Like, he looked like he was wrestling for change. Yeah. It wasn't good. But anyway, not a bad promo. Like I say, he's still learning. You can tell. But
right.
It was what it was. It's setting up a match that you don't get to see. But I'll talk about that in a minute. Next match was Scott Armstrong versus Dutch Mantel.
This is where Dutch is going to show him how he would win a match.
What was his bullwhip's name? Do you know?
Shoe Baby.
Shoe Baby. I
Shoe
heard
Baby.
that and I about fell on the floor. I was like, holy crap. I bet you'd be like, Shoe Baby, every time that sucker hit you. But it was a DQ. But actually about a 7-8 minute match.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't long.
He hit him in the throat with the hard part of
the whip.
The whip.
Got DQ.
And then Scott took a damn lashing across the back with that damn whip.
Make him believe it, brother. How we do that? I'm going to hit you for real. And you're going to like it.
It looked like it too, man. I saw that back arch up and I'm like, get the hell out of there. But Brian Lee come down for the save. So again, you're setting up the match. Bob Armstrong promo to set up Dutch versus Brian Lee. He's like, basically, if you want to start somehow, we got a way to fix that. We'll just put you
it in the
match.
ring. That's it.
So there you go. Then Cornette comes in right behind, does another promo talking about bringing in the tag team again. Pretty much the same thing he said a week before, besides insulting the crowd in pretty much any way humanly possible. Now this is one promo that I could have done without was Wally Yamaguchi.
This is great. Do you know who Wally Yamaguchi is?
He looked familiar, but honest to God, I don't. Was he Choppy PP? I swear I thought that's what it was. Okay, I wasn't wrong.
Mr. Yamaguchi-san.
I thought that's who it was. He's the guy who's going after
If it ain't, it's his twin. I mean, but I'm pretty sure that's him.
Oh, man. I don't know if it was or not, but I thought I was like, I don't want to say that because I don't know.
When I saw it, I'm like, oh, crap, that's him.
Yeah, but they were like, they're scouting talent and pushing their
The little
brand.
dude that was with him, though, was horrible looking. Like,
Oh, no, he looked like he just...
he needed to eat some Wheaties or
Yeah,
something.
Wheaties or cow, something. Yeah, it was not a good promo. It was horrible.
It was pretty bad.
So, like, I do hear Jim talk about, back in the day, and I'm like, back in the day, y'all didn't know how to rewind and I mean, I know y'all on a time schedule, but some of these were bad.
Yeah, but those might have been the good ones.
I know, that's the scary part. But anyway, you got the Koloff versus the Fantastic. I keep saying Fanatics, but
we were better.
It was about probably 8 to 10 minute match and ends with a crossbody. The Koloffs lose. Fantastics win. Decent match.
Yeah, it was solid for sure.
But like I said, if Ivan was green at this point, you really couldn't
Vladimir.
tell. I keep saying Ivan, but you know what I mean. But yeah, if he was green at this point, you couldn't tell. And the show ends on this. It's a promo Cornette. His was insulting the crowd, talking about the tag team again. Terry Gordy comes in, cuts a promo, talking about it, bombs and dropping bombs and get down. He drops to the floor at one point. I'm like, is this guy messed up? I'm like, I know at this point, I think he had had his incident.
He had something because he was out there.
Brother was gone. I'm like, he's like, I've been from Bad Street and dropping bombs there, and I'm gonna drop bombs here, and I'm dropping bombs over there, and then dropping. It was bombs every damn where. I'm like, what in the hell is going on,
man?
And then Tim Horner comes in, and I'm like, they should have ended on Terry. At
least it was
Go
entertaining.
home. It was the least entertaining as hell because I was like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. It felt like an Ultimate Warrior promo. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about, but I was entertained as some bitch.
For sure.
So, and then Tim Horner comes in and staggers through
Hey,
a
guys,
promo.
You know, back to being my hometown, and we've been
And
around the world.
They're going. We don't got to be one of them. And I see Kyle look at me and goes, "You mean bodybuilder?" It's like he couldn't get his words to come.
It was a rough promo.
Horrible, and that's how the show goes off. Was his promo?
Yeah, for as good as he is in the ring, he is not that.
I was like, this
outside.
is awful. But I was like, y'all should have just took his off and just ended on Gordy.
Yeah, I think he had some money in the business.
No, he was like a partner or some crap at one point.
Should have been a solid partner.
Duct tape, electric tape,
But overall,
and a mask.
2 strong episodes.
No, the matches were fine. It's just that dude.
Especially a different way of like putting the TV out with just some. And again, it's just introducing people. But overall, I mean, solid 2 episodes. I look forward to more episodes. Hopefully, we can get 3 and 4 maybe in the next time.
I got 3, but that's what I was
we
talking
already
about.
on like 25 minutes.
Well, it's short.
So,
but are you on try?
No, we'll do it next episode.
Okay.
So leave y'all something. Give us the main event for the 3rd episode. Give us something to look forward to.
I can't because we didn't give it 20 minutes of the 3rd episode. That's what I was going to say.
I gotcha.
For some reason on YouTube, only 20 minutes of a 50-minute show is on there. So you never get the main event that's advertised.
I guess I didn't notice it.
Yes.
But yeah, overall, cool stuff. And look forward to next episode.
All right.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks, guys.